here at the Wildlife Center of Virginia, and I'm really excited to start our Ambassador Hour program for our Gala Week. I can see that some of you are already joining us. I'm really looking forward to this program today because it's our chance to share some of our favorite animals with you, and that's our animal ambassadors. Um, in past years, we've done we've sort of used this as an opportunity to tell the animal stories, why it came to the center, what we can learn from it. And we might chat a little bit about that today, but the real focus of today, we think, is to tell you our favorite stories of their time with us. Maybe it was a special program that they were a part of. Maybe it was some really big impact they had on someone who met them. So we're really excited to share some of their stories today, and we want to make this an interactive discussion. So I see all of the comments that are already here from Lydia and Becky and Barb. So great that you're all joining us here today. So throughout this program, if you have comments, you have questions, post them there. We love to see it, and we want to make it interactive. But with that being said, I want to go out to Paige, one of our front desk coordinators who is helping with this program today. And I believe Paige is up at the possum enclosure. I can see she's walking in right now. Paige, which enclosure are we in?
I am here with Oliver. It's a little bit loud because of construction we having right now. But he has gotten some browse added to his enclosure today. And as enrichment, we know our possums love peanut butter. So we've added some peanut butter to the leaves, and Oliver is very excited about the experience.
Oliver is one of our two Virginia possums, and he's getting up there now. He's one of our senior possums, if you will. And it looks like he is digging into that. Um, he is one that was really interesting to work with, I think, because when he was up there, he is. You can see why he came to the center. He lost one of his eyes. He was a cat attack victim, and when he came to us, he was just about, that big. And he was one that even from a really young age, he was kind of a little spitfire is what I like to call him sometimes. Of like, he whenever we tried to work with him, he would sort of hiss and kind of do like a mock strike, so to speak. And I was really concerned at that point whether or not he would even transition to become an ambassador. I was just going, maybe his temperament isn't right for it. Maybe this type of life is too stressful for him. Um, but he's proved me wrong. Over, the next couple of months of working with him, he really started to settle in, get comfortable. And before I knew it, he was traveling off to programs all over the place. And he has done such a great job. And Paige, what's he getting today? I know you said there's some browse. What kind of browse did you pick for him?
Yeah, so I've got the easiest one to find is red maple, which he is sniffing here. He's also got some mountain laurel, which is an evergreen, so that's easy to find this time of year because it's one of the only with green leaves still. And also I think somewhere there's probably some black gum branches too. So those are usually the most common native browse that I'll get for the possums, but also the most common browse that we get for our fawns that we raise as well.
And so we try to keep, we try to keep things very interactive for them. So every single day, or we try to, is our goal, do something special for our ambassadors, some type of enrichment. My favorite for the possums is browse because it's something that they would, be exploring a lot in the wild. But just adding that little bit of peanut butter is great for Oliver because even though he's only got one eye, that doesn't stop him from getting around, especially because the sense that he really uses the most is that sense of smell. So as you're seeing him walk around right now, you're going to see that his sniffer constantly going as he's trying to find which leaves the peanut butter smeared on. And Paige, you didn't use a whole lot of peanut butter, right? It's just a small amount, but he's able to smell it out.
He knows exactly where it's at.
The nose knows, so to speak. So this is really, really great for him. Um, Talking about some of the programs that he's been on, I think one of the biggest things he's been a part of recently has been the library tour. You know, we recently did a summer library tour where we went around to um, libraries all over the state of Virginia. And our other possum, Ophelia, was sort of still in training and not quite ready to go for programs, or at least not very many programs quite yet. So Oliver here was sort of the mainstay of the programs, and everywhere he went, he was just a favorite. So when we go to a program, we bring them out in a crate, and we bring them out on a table, and we open up the crate door. And there's always this moment when we open up that door of just like, if there's murmurs in the crowd, all of a sudden everyone is super hushed because there's this weight. They don't just like immediately pop out. Usually Oliver will take a second, get his bearings, kind of look around, see what's going on, and then he'll take like a slow, tentative step outside of that crate, and then another step. And that's when it goes from that hushed voice to all of a sudden, the whole room just usually says "oh" or something that you can just tell that they're really excited to see him, and there's that heartwarming moment where they connect with him. Um, so he's done so great at programs. And then the opposite is really funny too, is when the program's over and we're trying to get him back in the crate, sometimes he's like, you know what, I'm gonna stick out here for just a little bit longer. In particular, after he eats, one of the things that he always likes to do is clean up after himself. So he'll kind of sit on just his back leg, sort of, and he'll use his front little hands to clean his face. So like, you might have seen a cat do something similar. He'll lick it and then clean up his face. And that is always something that really connects with people in crowds. And once he does that, he'll slowly make his way back in the crate for his way back to the center. And something that personally that I've gotten to see just a couple of times with Oliver that I think is something I haven't seen with other possums, which it took me a second to figure out what it was, is on the car ride back to the center. There's a couple times I'm going, what is that noise coming from like the back? And it was Oliver, I think, snoring or making some sort of snorting sounds while he was kind of curled up in his blanket. So um, that's something that I've seen him do that I haven't seen the other possums do. So that's an Oliver only thing. But I see so many comments coming in of saying how sweet Oliver is. And Lydia, I see you saying possums are very misunderstood. That is true. There are a lot of people that don't like possums because they think that they're kind of, gross. They see that kind of rat-like tail. But Oliver is helping to change that. I think people are starting to come around to possums when they get to meet Oliver and see him up close. So that's been something that's been really, really great to see.
I really thought that he would lick the peanut butter, but he is just eating the leaves with the peanut butter.
I actually meant to look up at some point, in the wild. I know they eat leaves. I don't know what portion of their diet is leaves. Um, I think their preference is more for some of the other items we give them, but probably good for them. Good for them to get some of those leaves. But Paige, is there anything I didn't say about Oliver that you want to add?
I would say one of his things in the winter when we do our checks in the morning to make sure possums are good at night. He's always the one when you open the top of his little house here, he'll be sitting there with his mouth wide open, just looking absolutely displeased that you've woken him up. And that's one of my favorite things about him. It's that personality and he doesn't like to be woken up, just like we don't.
Yep, I feel for that. Well, awesome. That was a great chance to see Oliver. Do you want to pop over real quick and see if Ophelia's out?
Yeah, let's see if she's out. She had a little bit of mouse, so hopefully that might have done a little bit of convincing.
Ophelia, while Paige is getting set up, I somewhat describe her sometimes as more of a hermit. She really likes her little hutch where she likes to stay in and rest, but she'll come out sometimes more when we're not around. But Paige's camera is off for a second while she's going to see if Ophelia is going to come out. Ophelia is our younger possum. She came to us from another rehabber because she, under their care, that they tried to keep her wild and get her ready for life in the wild, but she habituated to people, and that's why she couldn't be released. So she was later transferred to us, where she became our education animal. And there she is, just popping her head out of one of her hidey holes there. So
She's looking very beautiful today.
she is. And she is one that has really she's done really well this year with programs. It took us some time to slowly get her used to it. Something that we worked really hard with her to get her used for programs is we would do some like practice sessions in the Wildlife Center's library. So we would crate her up, bring her down from her enclosure to the library. Um, we'd have a crowd of people, the vet team, the rehab team, and we'd do a pretend program to see how she would do. And that's sort of what we did for training to get her ready for programs. And she did really great. The only hiccup that I ever had with her was one time when I brought her into the library. She was out on her table eating food, just like she would do at a program venue. But she got a little curious. She looked over the edge of the table and she decided, you know what? I'm going to jump off. So she jumped off that table, which really took us all for a surprise. But she didn't, when she hit the ground, she didn't like, book it and take off running. She just started sniffing and walking around. So I was able to quickly, get my handle and gloves, pick her up, get her back on the table and get her set up again. So that was something that um, I had to work through, make sure that was something she wouldn't do at programs before she was ready to go off site. Ashley, I see your comment saying she was keeping me on my toes. She certainly was. It's a nice chance to see her all comfortable in there. It's a bit of a cold, chilly day, so I don't blame her for not wanting to come out. But I think that's a great chance to see the possums. Thanks, Paige, for showing us an up close look at them. But
Of
I think
course.
let's switch over to our next ambassador we're going to feature, which is, it's not Amanda, but Amanda does have our next
Amanda.
ambassador, I think, ready.
Yes, I was actually, hello everyone, welcome. Let me make sure I can, okay, yeah. Yes, thank you for joining us for Gala Week and our ambassador program. I am going to, I figured I'd just start out here. So I'm going to get out my little friend Oz, Ozzy, the Eastern Screech Owl, who has been my special little bud for 3 years now. We've been working together. And he's recently made some big moves. He's in a new enclosure and has free reign of his enclosure. And we've been doing really well with training. But Connor, I figured I would let you maybe do the heavier burden of talking at first, at least until I get him out, and we'll see what he thinks. I've realized over time that I'm not super good at talking really loudly with him. I think I talk to myself and him pretty quietly. So sometimes he's like, why is this lady talking so much? But this is all good practice for us too. So what I'm going to do is take you all into the doorway of his new enclosure. And I'll ask him to step up, and then we'll come in the hall and I'll put on his equipment, and then hopefully we'll just step outside. We're probably not going to walk around very far or whatever, since as Connor and Paige said, it's busy here today. We're working on construction, but yeah, that's my plan.
Yeah, that sounds great. And just to kind of talk a little bit more about what Amanda said about talking around Oz. It was something that was Amanda and I, when we worked with Oz, we were paying so close attention to his behavior and seeing how comfortable he was with things that at one point we realized, you know what, we're not really talking around him much because we're such, intensely observing him, that when we started talking around him, he was kind of like, whoa, what was that? So it took us, we were like, oh, we better start talking around him so he's ready for programs where we're going to be telling his story. But right now, Amanda's got the glove on. She's tapping on the door, which is kind of like our way of letting Ozzy know, hey, we're coming in. And you can get a little peek in his enclosure there. She's gonna go ahead and close that. Oh, we're gonna get a full, so you can see it's got some nice greenery hanging from the ceiling, which is something that's nice for him. That can make him feel more comfortable if he can hide behind some of those vines with leaves and whatnot. I can see his water tub in the corner as well as his crate. And there he is. He is ready. So Ozzy has been, like Amanda said, doing really well. And it is such an accomplishment to see where he was to where he is now, because Screech Owls are just incredibly hard to train and get them comfortable around people, around different sights and sounds. But we've been taking it slow and working with him, slowly kind of like opening up the world to him and showing him different things and experiences. And thanks to all of, I say we, but it's mostly Amanda. Thanks to all of Amanda's, hard work, um, he is now a very confident bird, which is great to see. And glad to see he came out to join us today. For those of you that don't know his background, he came to us because he had lead toxicosis when he was just a little nestling. And it was so severe that his head was like pretty much turned upside down like this. Um, and he was sort of on this emergency IV drip treatment where we really, the vet team was shocked that he was able to recover from that lead toxicosis. So he did, but the only problem was that it kind of it left him not quite mentally right in terms of like he wouldn't know how to hunt for his own food or be an owl in the wild. It kind of caused some neurologic damage. So that's why he is with us here today. Um, Screech owls do come in two colors. So this is a red morph, which personally I think is the more handsome of the two colors that they can come in. They also come in a gray morph. And Amanda, I'll keep talking. If you feel free to jump in if there's anything you want to say, but I know you're focusing on Ozzy right now.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone's getting wound up here.
All the other birds are
Yeah.
chiming in a little bit. So something that's really nice this time of year with Oz is, we've over the past couple of years, I feel like Amanda and I have both learned so much about working with screech owls and with raptors in general. But something that's really, really nice for them is they like to feel protected. So when we go out on walks, they really like that tree cover with leaves around because they're always on the lookout for maybe a wild bird flying overhead that might spook them. So we keep that in mind of when we go out for walks. We try as best as we can to stick to that tree cover and keep them comfortable. And he's looking pretty comfortable right now. He's taking some mouse pieces. I definitely see his tufts up just a little bit. I think he's a bit weirded out by the camera, but not overly stressed out at all.
Yeah. I think it's a good reminder to me of we have we can do some additional work with my phone and
Yeah.
do some selfies and that sort of stuff just to get him used to seeing. I mean, as we're both looking at my phone and can see ourselves on it. Of course, I'm talking a lot more, and you, Connor. Um, so little stuff like this is like, okay, this is a good area for us to work on. Because yeah, I think he's a little bit wary of all of it. He's still comfortable enough to eat, which is good. Just maybe not the most comfortable.
So
Aggie's yelling, you know.
yeah, whenever Maggie sees Amanda, Maggie has to call to you. So
I fed her
uh
earlier to hopefully avoid this, but obviously that was not it. Um,
uh,
yeah, I mean, so I think to me very chatty. The big excitement was moving Oz from a tethered situation. I had tethered him for our introductory training, which yes, our introductory training lasted a while. But he's now graduated into an enclosure where he's not tethered and he can bop around as he sees fit. But it was a lot of work getting to that point. But it was actually a lot of fun too. In the past month, I think I've had so much fun working with him and kind of seeing the progression as we go through things.
yeah, it's one of those things of like now that you can like look back and be like, holy cow, look how much progress he's made, you know? And something, ooh, get to see the nice colorful back there. One of my favorite stories about Ozzy is, he hasn't really been in a lot of programs yet. He's been in like one or two very small, what you might say, programs. But that doesn't mean he hasn't had a big impact. We have our Caring for Critters program where people can adopt him, learn about his story. They get this nice sponsorship packet where they learn more about him. They get his photos. We've had classrooms adopt him. Um, but my absolute favorite was Ozzy actually has a pen pal. There's this um, is it I don't even know, very young person. I don't remember what grade they're in. I want to say first grade or kindergarten that I think got a sponsorship if I'm remembering this correctly. So that's how they learned about Ozzy. And then they didn't get a
Oh,
sponsorship,
yeah.
or they just see him.
I believe that Wes
Wes is his name. Thank you.
um yes, I believe that Wes just mailed us a little drawing of an owl, and it was like a little screech owl, I believe. And it just said like hoot 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 on it, and I was like, cool. So I took it and gave it to Oz and took a photo and then posted it on social media. And then I believe Wes's mom saw it and instigated this like back and forth pen pal. So I've helped. I've helped facilitate.
It is really cool to see. I got to see that I think we got at least two letters from him since that original one. And it says something, it'll say something like, "Hi Oz, how are you? I hope you're doing well." And then we'll again take another photo of Oz with the new letter. So he hasn't been in many programs yet, but he's already having a big impact. So that's really great to see. What do you think? Do you think he's about ready to go back in his
I
enclosure?
think he is. I keep, it's like if you don't want him to get distracted by a thing, you just move yourself a little, but he keeps turning around and looking at himself in the phone. So yes, I think we will. Oh yeah, I have to go over and open a door, don't I?
That's right. So we'll say goodbye to Amanda while she puts Oz away. And I do see some questions here that I'll answer real quick. Ashley says, weight wise, what would you compare Oz to, Connor? That's a great question. I would say when I've got Ozzy on the glove, it's comparable to say carrying a tennis ball, maybe. Um, not very heavy at all. In other words, it's you really hardly feel the weight when he's on your glove. So
Last night you said a cupcake for Cooper,
well, he's a little heavier than a cupcake.
but not this week.
Not
He
this
and
week.
Clover, yeah, they're both cupcakes this week.
Gotcha. Well, I'll give him the cupcake weight then. But during winter, his weight will go up a little bit more than Clover's will. But pretty soon, Paige, are you there with our next ambassador getting ready? There we go. I see Paige, and we're gonna wait
Sorry, technical difficulties per usual.
no,
But
no,
yeah, I'm kind of awkwardly in between the enclosures because I think this will give the best view of our next enrichment, which will be with our very famous Buddy the Eagle. Here I'll turn around so you can kind of see what a rich enrichment I set up earlier. Okay, sorry for the lines in between, but
no. We can
this
see
is his
that pretty
enclosure.
good.
Okay, good. But this is his pool I filled up with water. And you can see inside he's got some floating plates, and that has all of his diet for the day. So he'll have to do a little bit of fishing to reach those, and they'll move as he's trying to grab the food items off. So it should be interesting. And you can
Ah.
hear him back in the vestibule. He's very excited to eat.
He he knows the food is ready. That looks
Yes,
like a,
you
a
know,
really
you can
fun
see
one.
Amanda approaching over there. Are we ready, Connor?
I think
Ready for the eagle?
I am ready. I think everyone watching is ready to see him get his enrichment in his pool. So go ahead and open the door.
We're running. Release the Kraken.
Oh, I think he sees it.
All right. I was worried he'd be a little bit weirded out by me being over here, but he's not too concerned.
There you go. So he's using the rock in the center, and he's in the pool. Didn't take him too long. We know that Buddy really loves his pool, so a lot of our enrichment is centered around the pool. I see Ashley say it seems like a chilly day for a swim. It would. You wouldn't catch me going in there, but Buddy's pretty used to the colder weather than we are. Um, so there's some plates there floating with food, like Paige said, and it's been a while, but we've done something similar to that before, where I had at first anticipated that he'll probably, walk around the edges and try to, stretch and reach it. Um, but no, a lot of times he's just like, I'm not patient enough. I'm just gonna dive right in like that.
A little splash.
The last time I did this, he actually landed on top of the plate and like it flung all of the food in the air and then it landed back in the pool. So it became sort of like you hear a bobbing for apples. Well, he was kind of bobbing for mice, so to speak. Um, so it was really, he seemed to really enjoy it though, so it's great for him. And what was on the plate? What'd you give him for food
Yeah,
today?
I gave him a little bit of everything that was available. So he got rat, which in my opinion, I think rat is one of his favorite food items. And then he also got some chick and a mouse. So got some
Oh,
good variety today.
some variety, yeah. I know for some reason chick doesn't seem to be his favorite, but he really likes rat, mice, and
Yeah,
fish. But
yes, he
it's
usually
nice.
avoids the chick, but it's good for him.
Yes, I see Ashley saying my favorite buddy enrichment so far this year was his Sweet 16 event. I totally agree. That was probably one of my favorite memories from this year is Buddy turned 16 and we knew we wanted to do something to celebrate and we were trying to figure out what to do because I feel like every year we get him some type of cake and it's like, well, what can we do that's different? And we decided, you know what any 16-year-old dreams of having, and that is a new car. So we made Buddy a car out of cardboard. And by we, I mean our rehab intern Jen. She's very creative, so she made the car, she painted it, looked great. We also made him a little license plate, and I think it said like Buddy One or something like that on it. Um, and we put the car out. We filled it with a bunch of fish and other fun food items. And so we opened the door, let him out, and we're so excited for him to run over and check it out. And at first he stayed on the very opposite side of his enclosure, like what the heck is that thing? Kind of a little intimidated, and it took him a while. But eventually he built up the courage and he went over there, checked it out, and we have a photo of him. It looks like he's kind of sitting in the car and driving it. So it was a fun time, and he seemed to have a nice Hatch Day celebration. And I see some more comments coming in. Um, yeah, Ashley says Jen did a wonderful job with that car. I completely agree. It was really great. And Buddy's been a fun one to work with this year. I spend a lot of my time when I do work with him trying to figure out ways to keep him pretty active. So a lot of times I'll take his food and I'll cut it up into somewhat small pieces, and I try to scatter it around his yard. It gets him a good workout, flying from spot to spot. Um, but he's got eagle eyes, so he finds the food really well. So increasingly, I'm trying to figure out where can I hide this food to make it a little bit more challenging for him. And sometimes I think I've got the perfect spot, but he still finds it pretty quickly. So that's been something fun to do with him. But Paige, you're pretty new to working with Buddy. How's it been getting to know him?
Buddy's a lot of fun to work with. So when I first met Buddy and kind of got to interact with him was when I started my rehab externship at the Wildlife Center. And one of my memories from that time was every evening we close our main gate. And Buddy's a very, very vocal eagle, kind of like Hudson being very vocal right now behind Yep, there you go. So I had this mission for my summer. This gate is very hard to close. So my mission for the summer was to be able to close this gate by the end of my externship, which I did. However, every time I would struggle to close this gate, Buddy would be vocalizing and it just felt like he was laughing at me. So it's pretty I didn't feel bad about it. It was just funny, just struggling to close this gate and Buddy's just getting a hoot out of it.
Just, oh, that's too funny.
But
I can
he's
picture it.
great. I have a video of him in the winter from this past winter of just when I was dropping his food one Sunday and there's just snow everywhere and there's handsome Buddy ready to eat. So I have wonderful memories like that with him, even though we've only known each other for about a year and a half now.
And I know a lot of our, supporters have so many memories of him as well. And also, I'm sure a lot of you tuning in have had the chance to look through our auction to see what items you might want to be bidding on, or maybe are already bidding on. Um, but there are a couple of buddy themed items that I think we should point out really quickly. One is his old oh gosh, plaque, his plaque in front of his enclosure telling his story. We decided this year to install all new plaques for all of our ambassadors. So we removed Buddy's plaque and put a new one in place. And as we were removing Buddy's plaque, we actually discovered behind it um, the very first Buddy plaque that was ever made. It was a paper telling his story that's inside some plexiglass, and it featured a photo of him as a chick, not even not even an adult Buddy. There's a little photo of Buddy as a chick when he first got here. And it was so cool. None of us knew it was there. And so as we removed those, the newer plaque and the older plaque, we decided, you know what, let's make that an auction item because we know how many people love Buddy and would love to keep a piece of Wildlife Center history involving Buddy. So that's an item you can bid on that I think is just really cool, especially if you feel very close to this bird, or if Buddy's one of your favorites. I definitely would say check out that item. It's a great one to bid on. And there's another one too. There's a Buddy plate, a special Buddy plate made by artist Rachel Kozlowski. He's one of my favorite artists. I've seen her work a couple times before. And she did a portrait of Buddy on the plate, and you can really tell it looks like him. It seems to really capture his personality as well. You just got to see it. So check out that item. Those are the two Buddy themed items that are up for auction this year. So don't miss out. As we always say, bid recklessly, get in there and check that out. It looks like Buddy's, did you just get the last of it there? Kind of drown the plates a little bit.
Yes, he's hoping that more food will appear, but I think he's cleared it out.
Sometimes he'll grab the plates and just kind of walk around with them.
Oh,
I don't
that's
really
cute.
know. I don't really know why. I don't know if it's kind of like he feels like, I don't know, I caught and killed this plate.
Right.
But
Yeah, he definitely kept looking at the plates and then there wasn't any more food on them. So he definitely associates the plates with food, which I think is pretty smart.
and I didn't even realize this wasn't on purpose, but we gave him plates for enrichment and his auction item is a plate, so it ties in well.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that's a great from Buddy, but I'm going to tune in with Amanda again. So we'll say bye to Paige here for a second and see if Amanda's ready to show our next ambassador. There we are. We had Amanda for a second there. There we go, back again.
I'm the problem.
And,
Uh,
and who
yes.
we get to see next?
We are going to see Rosalie, and she has been cursing at us, taking our time. She's like, "Look, I've been ready to eat since 9 a.m. Okay."
That sounds like Rosalie.
No, why did I keep accidentally hitting a setting because I'm apparently dumb. I don't know. It's fine.
And Rosalie, for everyone tuning in, Rosalie is one of our 3 red-tailed hawks.
Yes. So Rosalie has been with us since 2016. So we've only had her 8 years, but she actually turns 20 this year. She was at
Oh,
another
wow.
prior to coming here, and she has an old hip injury. So she has some arthritis, which we manage. But she's been with us for the past 8 years, and we actually renamed her when she joined our facility and named her after Rosalie Edge, who is an amazing conservationist. And if you don't know about her, you should Google her and read everything about her because she just seems like this spunky Spitfire lady. And we thought that was a good name for our Rosalie as well.
I feel like
But
Rosalie at times can be a spitfire, so maybe that, fits in pretty well.
especially now, she's hungry lately with this change in seasons. She's very food motivated. So I have enrichment for her. I did all of her food in enrichment in one of my favorite things, in which I call Raptor coffee. This is what I call Raptor coffee. I like to
Ooh,
call it Raptor coffee because it's in a takeaway coffee thing. Because we log our enrichment in a spreadsheet to keep track of who gets what when. We need some shorthand. I can't, every time I do this, I can't say a takeaway coffee thing with the ball and another ball and some paper and a cut. It gets to be a lot to write. So I have requested to shorthand this as Raptor coffee, but it's always a little bit different. And I just like the little takeaway containers because you can you can put a little cup in there, but you can like hide stuff underneath. So I've
hmm,
done a chick underneath, a mouse butt there. She's got a little surprise under this paper. She's got a rat tail in this ball. And then she just has this regular ball if she wants to toss it around. So
awesome.
we'll see. So I will deliver this to her. I'm going to fully thought through doing this.
Well, I can hear her.
Um, yes, actually, I might try and get her on the glove real quick. Um, and then once she has this, we'll see how tolerant she is of me just like holding the camera over her, sort of thing, to watch her. But I'm also going to slip in this other wonderful invention that, that I'm just like deeply proud of. Um, because Rosalie has arthritis, she's on a controlled medication twice a day. And of course, the idea for those of you who manage pet medications, those twice a day meds are really ideally given 12 hours apart. Outreach staff doesn't work 12-hour shifts. So we have this little cat automatic pet food dispenser that would complete with a little cooler thing. And it just rotates. So it's set for, right now it's set for 6:30 because that's when it starts to get dusky. So it's on us to get in here as early, to give her earlier meds. There is a cover to this. Rosalie ripped it off last night in there because she's determined to make me purchase another one of these. I think this is her second or third thing. No, this is her third. Although admittedly, Connor and I accidentally destroyed one. So yes, I'm determined to make it last, but she ripped her cover off. So those are her meds for later on.
Yeah, I think Rosalie sometimes has figured out if I don't know if she knows this or if it just happens when she's very hungry, but sometimes she'll grab the feeder and drop it on the ground so it just pops open.
Yeah.
And so she gets her food and meds a little earlier, which, obviously you want the meds spread apart, but it's not going
Yeah.
to harm her if she gets those meds earlier, if she, is particularly hungry and decides to do that. And it doesn't happen often. Um, but it has been really nice for us to be able to give her um, the food, use that to give her PM dose. And Becky says I had something similar for my diabetic dog. It is, yeah, it's so helpful. It is also interesting. I'm pretty sure she's caught on to the time somewhat because if I'm working later at night and I'll look at that. I'm just gonna stop talking and look at her right now because she.
Like I just need her to have manners for a half of a second before I drop this off so she's not like rushing me. So that's, yeah. Thank you for your manners. You stepped up and did it. Here you go. Here's your coffee. What do you think of that? It's all yours.
She's like, it's mine. Let's see what she goes for first.
What's it going to be?
I feel like she, for a second there, she might be like, hello, what are you doing in here?
Yeah, I think she's very thrown off by me. Okay, well, that was the easy
Uh,
thing.
she went for the easy one first. No surprise there.
Now she uncovered another easy thing for herself.
But this is great because, as we give them enrichment, we often like to make them think, not just be physically active, but mentally active as well. So getting her to think about what she wants to do and how she has to do it is great. While she's going through her enrichment right now, something I will share with you all is that you are looking at a TV star. That's because just last month, Rosalie came with us to WHSV studio in Harrisonburg, where she did a interview on air about where we were talking about raptor migration. And she did such a great job in that interview. You can think of a news studio. There's cameras, there's lights everywhere, this big background screen and all that. And she was really calm throughout, which I was hoping she would be, but honestly, she surprised me just how, calm and ready she was to go. And after the interview, um, everyone in the news studio was so excited to meet her that they all came over and we did a little meet and greet with her. And we got to take some fun photos with her in studio. My favorite was we took a photo of her in front of the weather report screen. So Rosalie got to be the meteorologist for our region for a day, telling people, what to expect, maybe cloudy with a chance of some mice in the afternoon. So she did really great that day. It was one of my favorite experiences with her. I think she's maybe about to come back over.
She's working on a chick.
Okay, I couldn't see if she had gotten through it at all.
Yeah, I probably should have made that smaller, but
And for anyone that wants to see, meteorologist Rosalie, go to the Wildlife Center's Facebook page, scroll back, not too far. It's probably, it was like mid-September or something like that. And you can check out those photos. It's definitely worth scrolling back to see.
so I'll give you while she finishes her delightful chick. I did put the cover on her container and put it on its shelf. We have a little exterior door there too, so we don't have to come in really. So the rehab staff doesn't have to come on the weekend. Um, but it's ready and loaded.
And that one too, Amanda, I don't know if you've noticed this, and I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but if I ever stay late and I happen to go out there around the time where the feeder is scheduled to go off, she is up there by that feeder. So I don't know if she has a
So
general sense of the time for when it goes off and she's kind of
I'm sure
sitting there waiting. I know other animals I work with definitely have a sense of time for when their feeding is coming. So I think she's caught on.
we've taught her how to tell time.
There you go. So she's been a meteorologist. She can tell time. Who knows what's next for Rosalie? She's very interested. I'm trying to be quiet right now because I don't want to interrupt Rosalie too much.
Can you guys see Athena?
I think I can just see her as like is she on that T platform?
She's like very intently looking at Rosalie's image.
She's
Like
like, Ro
I could figure out what to do with that.
yeah, Rosalie, if you won't take it, I will. See, Ashley says the anticipation is getting to me. Me too. She's had a couple of like almost gonna fly over to it.
Hungry?
There we go. Good chance there to see her wingspan and that red tail. She placed a to-go order, I think. What was that one, Amanda? Is that the rat butt in that?
Yes, that's her rat butt stuffed in the ball with some paper. She also did happen to uncover that because she plucked that other piece of paper out. So she's made it very easy for herself for the last snack. But hey, you got to get that out of the ball. I jammed it in there pretty well. So
I think maybe that's a good chance to give her her time to work on that, and we can maybe check in with Paige and see where she is
yeah,
at.
all right. Fine, Roro. Oh, yeah. She's like, I gotta go to
She's
my other side of my enclosure.
and that is a new
Oh,
door there for anyone that didn't know that Rosalie had two sides to her enclosure now. She recently expanded, so she's got a whole other
yeah.
enclosure she could go into.
She needs her privacy.
Paige, I think I see you're right next door
Yes.
for me.
Yes, over here in the library with our turtles. Sheldon is who we'll be seeing today. I have come prepared with a strawberry and raspberry treats to give Sheldon. So let me just turn around the camera here, figure out how to do that. Okay, she is hiding out a little bit. I think this is probably her favorite hide in her enclosure. I'll kind of just do a general once over our enclosure for anyone that's curious. She does have little misters up here that'll mist every automatically to make sure her humidity stays up in her enclosure. She's got her food that was delivered earlier by our rehab team who will usually feed her. She's got a couple other hides, a shallow soaking dish, a bigger soaking dish if she wants to go for a little bit more of a swim, and then some nice greenery just to add a little bit of natural cover. But she's hanging out in here a little bit in the dark.
And
See,
what
is that a very good view?
I can no I can see her there.
That's
Yes, I do. I think that's where I normally see her too. Whenever I'm in that enclosure, that seems to be the hide she likes.
She likes this hide, and she also, one thing that is very special about Sheldon that I don't see Wilson or other box turtle doing is Sheldon seems particularly interested in climbing. So sometimes I'll be in the library and she'll be up on top of this hide just hanging out on top, which for some reason is just hilarious. I don't think most people realize how good box turtles are at climbing. They can actually scale like some decently tall fences, which has been a concern with some of our patient box turtles.
I
Oh,
should
good.
take,
Do you have Amanda joining you?
yeah, Amanda's joining me. I should take my headphones off so she can hear too.
Here. Oh, I don't know if Sheldon will react while we're here, but I will
Let's see,
deliver.
let me make sure I got the setup right.
Where are my trains?
Paige, can you hear us still?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, I remember this. Oh, you're still on here. You want speaker?
Paige, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Uh-oh. Which one? Left microphone. Should be that one.
Did your volume turned up?
Let's see. Ah. All right.
Can you hear
Let's
me?
try that again. Paige, can you hear us now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, brilliant. Go back to what you
I'll
were
go back to
doing.
this.
I'll catch the live.
Sorry, Paige. We were trying to see if I could get it
Oh,
working
you're
without the
good.
headphones, but it was giving me a hard time. So back on the
I could hear you
headphones.
the whole time. I just don't think it was coming through on your end.
Gotcha. Darn. I think Amanda's gonna hop over to her computer.
Yeah, we got
Um,
Amanda here to join the discussion.
but
Um,
Sheldon has had
I just got that awkward.
she's inside for the foreseeable future with how cold it is out. But in the summer, and early fall, we had her outside a lot of the time during the day in her outdoor turtle garden. And did you already talk about that, Paige?
I haven't yet. I just delivered her berries while we had the technical difficulties.
Gotcha. That is her outdoor turtle garden has been really fun because it's full of like what? It's got leaves and logs and different plants, all the stuff a box turtle might be walking through in the wild. And she is surprisingly very, very good at catching insects, which does make up a part of a box turtle's diet in the wild, but we've seen her catch quite a few things. So she definitely enjoys her garden time. And whenever we bring her out to the garden, we usually drop in some sort of food, whether it's a strawberry, a grape, watermelon, just some nice little treat when we move her out there. And Amanda, who's not here quite yet, but she said it was one of her
I'm here.
oh, she is here. Perfect.
Yeah, we got Amanda here.
Amanda always said it's one of her favorite things to do. Isn't that right, Amanda?
Yes, I feel like I was the only one who was dropping snacks because I just needed like this moment of zen to watch her run over. And then I really went on a mission to try and figure out what she liked and what she didn't like. I'm gonna do some sort of video compilation of that at some point. But yes, and then Paige was always like, I need more Sheldon content.
I was
So I
the
feel like it was
instigator.
really like the highlight of both of our like, oh, I'm gonna put her out in the garden and give her little garden
I'll
snackies.
be like, send photos.
Surprisingly, she was into Brussels sprouts.
She also kind of like
Wow.
cauliflower,
Yeah.
which is weird. I don't know who likes cauliflower.
Who is this turtle?
She's so healthy.
Yeah.
Also, we now know as of yesterday for sure that Sheldon is famous. She's in a book.
Mhm.
Yes, yeah.
We had an event yesterday with artist Rosalie Hazlett, who kind of like painted her journey through the Appalachian Trail, capturing all the smallest wildlife and different plants. And as part of her journey, she stopped here at the center for a program, and she happened to see Sheldon, so she painted Sheldon, and Sheldon is in the book, which was really cool to see. I wish
think
I
she's eyeing
I wish
it.
I had a copy of the book with me today. I could put it on screen, but
Too bad I have mine in my car. I should have
Oh,
brought it in.
yes.
It's really talented. I love the artwork of Sheldon though. It's a really nice spread in the book, along with all the other pages.
and is this what she got? Is that a raspberry and strawberry?
Exactly.
Mm.
They look the most appetizing. I did consider getting out cauliflower, but I thought berries might be more of a treat. There's one photo, Amanda, that is my favorite that Amanda took over the summer of Sheldon. And it's a picture, I think Sheldon's probably yawning and not actually like taking a bite. Yeah. But it's Sheldon and then in front of her is a cauliflower and it's just her mouth wide open. Like she's screaming and happiness. I don't know, but the photo is just perfect.
Yeah, I think she was yawning.
Yeah, it was just a good
Just
capture.
good timing for that photo. It looks like, and I don't know if she is, but it really looks like she's giving that like side eye almost. If you can, I don't know if you can see the screen there, but like
Yeah, she's really good at the side eye.
Lydia says, I still have a photo of all the colors poor Sheldon was painted in. Yeah, unfortunately, the reason she came to the center is because someone painted her shell, which I wish I could say is an issue that we don't see often, but we probably see at least one or two turtles like that a year. Um, and it's sad because it leaves us with a lot of questions. We were able to get her healthy. We removed that paint from her shell, but we don't know if someone had been keeping her as a pet or if they moved her from one area to another. So, really the outcome is that she can't be released because we don't know where her true home is. So that's why she stayed here with us. But she's transitioned really well. She's become an excellent ambassador for our team. We don't know how old she is, but we do know that box turtles can live for an incredibly long time. So something that's really cool to me is to think that, I could be here, 40 years later, still working at the center, and I could still be working with Sheldon. So that's
She looked like for a minute that she was looking, I think she's getting interested in the berries. It is a slow process.
we gotta give her time.
Yeah. I think she will enjoy them at some point today, though.
And she's one that's really fun to bring out for programs. There's always one of my favorite moments during programs. It's predictable. I know it could happen almost every time. Is if I'm at a school. Kids absolutely love it when I say, do you want to see Sheldon move? Like if I put her on the table. And that is just the thing that amazes them, just watching a turtle walk. I don't know why. But I think maybe what surprises them when I do that is that she can move a lot faster than they expect. They think of turtle, they think of slow, and she can't move, as fast as many other animals, but she can still move pretty fast when she wants to. So that's been something that's been pretty fun at programs. I think people also are really interested in hearing what box turtles eat because when they think of turtles, they think of them eating vegetation, grass, leaves, berries. And when I tell them that she also eats um, animals like insects, maybe a salamander, um, that really surprises people. So I think that's always some fun information to share. Yeah, Lydia mentions that a lot of people don't realize how small a turtle's home territory is. It's true, they don't live in, they don't just continually move on to new areas. They kind of have their home territory that they stay in. And, it might just be a couple square miles, something like that. And if they're relocated or taken away from that area and move somewhere else, even if it's what you expect to be perfect for a turtle, no predators, so much food, all the stuff, they just don't adapt well. They don't adapt well if they're moved out of their territory. So that's why when we admit turtles like Sheldon or other turtles that come to the center, um, we always make sure to try to get where they came from when we're taking them in so that they can be safely released. Um, Gary Neal comes in with a great comment, says Sheldon most likely moves faster than me.
That's a good one.
I mean, you're seeing it right now.
Yeah.
You can see that speed.
Yeah, this is how she likes to spend a lot of her time this time of the year. Although she's definitely a lot more active when she does get to go to her garden and
Honestly,
be outside.
I wish I could spend my time like that, just in a hiding
Yeah.
hole where someone brings food to me.
And going back to what Lydia was saying, we do have the photo on her plaque of what her show looked like when she came in, and also where she got her name was the glitter Sheldon written on her show, and she was admitted in 2013. Yeah,
Yeah, so
big huge
she
transformation there.
I don't know. She might be just taking her sweet time.
Yeah.
I
Saying
wonder,
if she's
I
hungry.
wonder for if you took one of those and put it kind of closer to her, maybe she's waiting for you to bring the food to her
Yeah, she's like,
to see
it's a little encouragement.
see if that would get her going at all.
I think she just
I think she
got a little,
wants
got
to
a
be in
little.
her garden.
Yeah, she's like, I'd like to be in the garden on an 80-degree weather day.
Trust us, Sheldon. We're keeping you in here for your own good. You wouldn't like the temperature out there right now.
No, I don't think we all do.
But is there any last things we should mention about Sheldon? Anything I didn't hit on?
Oops. I always think Sheldon, or something that I always think about with box turtles, especially box turtles is definitely one of the animals, if not the animal that we get the most of at the Wildlife Center. So it
For
really leads you to
reptiles,
think,
yeah.
yeah, to think a lot about how different they are, because you'll have one not just like the coloration of their shell or their skin, but also their personalities. Even with just admitting ones, you'll have ones that tend to box up and be a little more shy, or ones that will be out even if they're in a completely new environment. So it made me start to think about what makes Sheldon special. She's definitely a unique turtle. I like to think about her climbing is one thing. Her love of cauliflower. And also, she's definitely a more social turtle, as she does fantastic when she goes out on programs, which all of that together makes a fantastic turtle.
And she's done such a great job as an ambassador. I know something we've been teaching about right now for turtles is that, um, they're looking for their winter spots to hunker down. So if any of you tuning in happen to find a box turtle, right now they're likely looking for their winter spot. If you find them in the middle of the road, an easy way to help them out is if you can safely pull over, just move them across the road in the direction they're going. Never move them the way they came from, because they're pretty stubborn animals and they'll try to go the way they wanted to go. So always help them in the way they're going. And hopefully they can get to their winter brumation spot safely. Brumation is, kind of like hibernation, very similar. So
Yeah, and if anyone ever has questions, sometimes we'll get calls at the front desk at this time of year about seeing turtles in the same spot for extended periods of time. Definitely feel free to call us at the front desk, because we can definitely figure out if that's normal behavior for this time of year, or if we might suspect something like an upper respiratory infection. We're at the desk 7 days a week, so we're always happy to assist.
well, awesome. I think that's a great place to leave it off. Me, Amanda, and Paige will check back in later today and see if she has decided to eat her strawberry or raspberry. But thank you all so much for tuning in for Ambassador Hour. I hope you enjoyed seeing them receive some treats, learning a little bit more about not just their stories, but our favorite stories about them and their time here at the center. We've got plenty of great programs planned for the rest of the week. Tomorrow is one I'm very excited for. It's a conversation with some of the rescuers and transporters that help get animals to our center. Our president Meg is going to be hosting that discussion. On Thursday, we've got Inside the OR, which will take you sort of behind the scenes for a special discussion with our veterinary treatment team to talk about the different patients that they've treated over the years, some stories that they have to share. And then rounding out the week on Friday, we have our Putting on the Ritz, which is just kind of our way of saying, let's get ready for our big gala night. Amanda and Dr. Cara will share some tips and tricks for their favorite recipes, things like that. And then Saturday night is the big thing. That's our gala night where our auction is coming to a close. Our auction does close at 9 p.m. So make sure to get your bids in. As Amanda and Randy, I believe, say, bid recklessly. There's something there for everyone. And also, if even if it's not for yourself, a lot of those items make great holiday gifts. So I encourage you to continue to look through the items in our auction. And with that, have a great rest of your day, everybody, and we will see you tomorrow for our next gala program. Bye.